The June State Transportation Board of Georgia will now come to order. At this time, I would like to ask our board secretary, Dennis McIntyre, if he will lead us in our invocation and the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day and opportunity for us to give a brief and considered listening before. Now we pray for the safety of our leadership and all of our employees as they work hard every day to improve infrastructure within our state. These things we pray in Jesus Christ.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to welcome everyone here today, and we've got a wonderful group of attendants. Appreciate you being here. And as we move forward, I am going to ask the secretary to the board if she would do roll call.
Yes, ma'am. I will go by congressional district, starting with District 1, Chair Purcell. Here. 2, Ms. Williams. Here. 3, Mr. McIntyre.
Here.
4, Mr. Brown. 5, Ms. Key. 6, Mr. Stoner.
Here.
7, Mr. Stein.
Here.
8, Mr. Golden.
Here.
9, Ms. Dunn. 10, Mr. Boswell.
Here.
11, Mr. Lewis.
Here.
12, Mr. Snipes.
Here.
13, Ms. Lemon.
Here.
And 14, Mr. Gravely.
Here.
Seeing that a quorum is present, we'll continue forward. Each and every one of you received our minutes through the email process. You've had an opportunity to look at those minutes, and I would like to ask for approval of the minutes. I have a second. As we go forward, are there any questions or corrections in regards to the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes carry, and the minutes are passed. At this time, I would like to have Albert Shelby approach to the podium. He is our Director of Program Delivery.
All right. Well, good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioner, and members of the board. I'm here to present the projects that the department is proposing to advertise for the July 2025 letting. So before we present the July 2025 letting, here are the current FY 2025 results. We have let a total of 235 projects in fiscal year 2025. This chart shows the number of projects by improvement type. The value of these 235 projects is approximately $2 billion through the May 2025 bid awards. Of the 235 projects, 221 are GDOT let with an approximate value of $1.8 billion, and 14 projects that were local let worth $291 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type, with the bridge, roadway, and maintenance projects making up the bulk of these types. Here are the results of the May 2025 letting. Of the 13 GDOT let contracts that were presented to the board, all were awarded. Okay, so now I'm going to discuss the projects in the July 2025 letting. We have a total of 49 projects. 46 are GDOT let and 3 are local let. These next 5 slides list those 49 projects arranged by congressional district. Bear with me, there's a lot of them. All right, so as you can see with this comprehensive slide, we are letting a variety of projects throughout the state to address maintenance, bridge, capacity, and safety issues. First highlighted project will resurface State Route 26 in Marion County for a length of 16.4 miles. This is also to show that we're maintaining our existing infrastructure. This next project is actually a safety project that will install a roundabout at the intersection of State Route 30 and County Road 311, which is Lamar Road and also Pecan Road. This project will improve the operations and reduce crash frequency and severity at the intersections. This next project is the last phase, which is phase 6, of the I-16, I-75 interchange reconstruction project. Thank God. Phase 6. I've been at this a long time with this one. Phase 6 consists of 1.4 miles of capacity improvements on I-75 northbound and southbound from the I-16 interchange to Pierce Avenue. It will include a 1,575-foot bridge that will be constructed over the Norfolk Southern Railroad. Phase 6 also includes 1.54 miles of milling and overlay for new striping and signage for construction that was completed as part of the previous phase, for a total project length of 3.016 miles. Project was actually advanced 2 years due to the state general funds that were made available to us by the General Assembly. So thanks for that. This next project will resurface State Route 410, which is also US 78, in DeKalb County for a length of 5.4 miles. This next project is a safety project as well that will install pedestrian hybrid beacons at the following locations: State Route 42 between Faith Avenue and Sanders Avenue, State Route 42 between Lywin Lane and Custer Avenue, State Route 42 between Custer Avenue and Moreland Drive, and State Route 42 near Issa Drive. The project will also install a restricted crossing U-turn with a pedestrian hybrid beacon at 2 locations, one at State Route 42 at Woodstock Road, and another at State Route 3 at Camelot Parkway, which is also Peyton Road. This is an excellent example of GDOT's continued commitment to safe routes for all travel modes. This next project will resurface State Route 29 in Baldwin County for a length of 6.8 miles. This project will replace the structurally deficient bridge with a stage construction bridge that will keep traffic open during construction. The bridge will consist of 5 12-foot travel lanes, which is 2 in each direction with a center turn lane, 4-foot bike lanes, and sidewalks on both directions. The total project length is 0.3 miles, and the existing bridge was constructed in 1931, 94 years ago. So we got around to it. Here's a ground view of that particular bridge to be replaced. This next project will resurface State Route 330 in Jackson County for a length of 6.1 miles. And the final project is an intersection improvement that will construct dual single-lane roundabouts at the intersection of State Route 20 and Conyers Road, at McGarity Road, and State Route 20, which is also North Zach Hinton Parkway at Lawrenceville Street in McDonough, Georgia. The project is approximately 0.33 miles in length along State Route 20.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioner, other members of the board. I'm here to present the July 2025 TIA projects. We have 2 projects, one in River Valley in Harris County. This is in Congressional District 3, and then one in the Southern Georgia region in Congressional District 8 in Clinch County. Our River Valley 2 project in Harris County, we will reconstruct the intersection of State Route 85 and US 27 at the Central Church Road, and this represents a total TIA commitment of just under $1 million. Down in Clinch County, we will be widening the State Route 89 US 441 route from 2 to 4 lanes, beginning at the existing 5-lane intersection or existing 5-lane section in Homerville, north to just north of the intersection at State Route 121 in Clinch County. This is approximately 8.4 miles and represents a blended investment of TIA and House bill money for just under $60 million in this corridor.
Thank you, Kenneth. So we have 49 projects proposed for the July 2025 letting. 46 are GDOT let and 3 are local let. This chart shows the distribution by improvement type. The estimate of the projects in the July 2025 letting is approximately $358 million. This chart shows the dollar amount distribution by improvement type. I now ask for your consideration for approval of the proposed projects for the July 2025 letting.
Explanation for our July 2025 letting projects. Do I have a motion that we accept these? So moved. I have a second and a second. Any further discussion or comments about those projects? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes carry, and we move forward. Thank you. We will now have Matt Markham to come forward, our Deputy Director of Planning.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner, members of the board. Pleased to come before you this afternoon to present proposed revisions to the construction work program. I have one set of revisions to bring forward to you today. These came to you last month for review, and they come back to you today for the second time for proposed approval. There are 3 projects on here. 2 of them are changes in project description, and one of them is an addition to the program. I'd be happy to take questions. Otherwise, I'd ask for your favorable consideration.
You've heard the proposal for the revisions of the construction work program for this coming month. Do I have any questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Do I have a second? Who was the second? Okay. Any comments or questions? Calling for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes carry, and that is passed also.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Commissioner Russell McMurray to give our commissioner's report for the month.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, it's great to be in front of you today. I appreciate the adjustment of the board meeting to one day due to the holiday tomorrow. Let me start a little differently than I normally do, and it's with great sadness. I want to inform you today of a couple of roadway incidents that serve as a grim reminder of the dangerous work that we do as GDOT and our contractors do. On Tuesday, about 6:30 in the morning on I-75 down in Dooley County, regrettably, it's very sad to report that one of our contractors' employees was killed in a hit-and-run incident there on I-75. There's still a lot of details to unfold at this moment and a lot more to learn about what actually happened, but one of our contractors' employees lost their life in a hit-and-run accident. So certainly want to extend our heartfelt sympathy to that family and the contractor team, and not only that, but our district team as well, because the loss of life affects so many. And then on June 13th, GDOT crew, herbicide crew, was spraying down on State Route 84 in Long County when we had a citizen's pickup truck basically strike our foreman's truck that was in a work zone behind Collins, and then strike our herbicide truck. We had a GDOT employee that was on foot at the moment doing some hand spraying that probably what saved his life was he jumped off the bridge to avoid being hit by the vehicle, and unfortunately suffered a broken hip and other injuries that require his hospitalization. Our 2 employees that were in vehicles were carried and treated and released. The driver of the vehicle that entered the work zone, you can see hitting our truck, was able to walk away. But fortunately, nobody died in this incident, but it's just a reminder of the grim reality of the dangers of working on the roadside. And just pray for a speedy recovery for our employees there, and especially the gentleman that had a hip fracture and obviously a lot of other things. My understanding is it's about a 40-foot drop off the bridge. but, that was the better scenario than being crushed by a vehicle. So just, again, fortunate. So hate to start out with bad news, but, you know, it is the reality that we have, in front of us, working on the side of the road every day, and, the dangers that are out there. All right, we move away from that, and as more details come out, we'll be able to share more with you maybe in the future on the I-75 fatality, which is, again, tragic. Now, let me move into our normal kind of reporting. As our state fund collections for the month of May resulted in $219.26 million of collections, $197.65 million in excise, and $21.65 million in transportation fees. That brings our fiscal year-to-date number to $2.26 billion of collections. You saw Albert's bidding numbers there. Albert, we may have to get an IOU there. You're outpacing the collections at the moment. But we've got it covered, don't worry. Excise, out of the $2.26 billion collections so far, $2.03 billion in excise, $2.327 million in transportation fees. And we're tracking ahead of where we were this time last year on motor fuel. So as you see, traffic is up, people are moving, and they're consuming gasoline and diesel. Our employment figure for this month is exactly the same as last month, 3,988, and that sounds good, but it's not. We separated 50 employees and hired 50 employees, netted zero. But again, a lot of hard work to onboard staff and to get them on, and certainly we may talk about somebody that left our employment in this presentation as well. All right, procurement. For the month of May, 129 professional services contracts were executed, valued a little over $30 million. And that brings our fiscal year-to-date professional services contracting to 1,960 contracts, valued at $882 million of work. So that's a lot of work being put out that turns into these projects that you approve for us to bid and build. All right, let me move into some projects that opened up to traffic since we were together last month. And we'll start in GDOT District 1 up in Congressional District 9, Union County. This was a capital bridge replacement project on State Route 60 over Sutchess Creek in Union County, a very beautiful little part of the world. Just a little over a quarter mile of work to replace the bridge. Tally Construction Company was the contractor. Opened up on May 16th, represents a $6.4 million capital bridge replacement investment. And I might add that Chris Rudd did a wonderful job this morning talking through our bridge program and what it takes to get bridges on the replacement list. And here's a great example of a capital investment on State Route system. Let's move now into Congressional District 12 in Jefferson County, over in GDOT District 2. This is a 6.57 mile widening project on US 1, which is also called State Route 4, from the Wadley bypass over to Louisville. Bypass included 4 bridges and approaches over the Ogeechee River and the Ogeechee overflow there in Jefferson County. E.R. Snell, contractor, was the contractor for this project. That 6.57 miles of widening represents a $57 million investment. So to give you some perspective, and you can see the nice 4-lane. Remind you that 440 US 1 is part of the GRIP corridor, and so these are part of our freight corridors also to move freight. And you actually see a truck in the picture over there, so they're using it. Also in Congressional District 12, we'll stay in Jefferson County, GDOT District 2. This is another bridge replacement project on Sand Valley Road over Duhart Creek in Jefferson County. Gregory Bridge Company was the contractor. And this bridge replacement on the county road represents a $2 million capital investment. Just like Chris talked about this morning, we're replacing bridges on local roads as well as state routes across the state. Next project is in the capital bridge rehabilitation and repair category. It's also in Congressional District 10 and 12, consisting of Greene, Lawrence, Newton, and Richmond counties in GDOT District 2. Chris mentioned a few of these things. This project consisted of painting the steel superstructure, meaning the beams, doing the polymer overlays so you can see the fresh surface of the bridge. It's like putting a fresh roof on your house. It's keeping the water out, which causes rust and degradation of our bridges, and Also, the bridge joints where the bridge spans meet each other, they get sealed up, again, to keep the water from intruding into there, causing rust and corrosion and things that we do not like. S&D, Industrial Painting, was the contractor. This capital maintenance investment represents a $7.4 million investment, again, to try to get better longevity out of our bridges before we have to replace them. Next, we're going to ask you to put your tray table in the upright position and buckle up. We're going to take to the skies and fly over to Tattnall County in Congressional District 12, GDOT District 5. This is a project construction of a terminal building and also the landside facilities at Reidsville Municipal Airport in Tattnall County. United Grounds Maintenance Services was the contractor that built this beautiful facility at $2.3 million. The state share was $1.4 million, local share $490,000, and the federal share was about $375,000. So you can see a state, local, and federal share to build this beautiful facility. Next, we're going to take off from Reidsville, and we're going to fly up to Newton County, Congressional District 13, GDOT District 2. This aviation project consists of construction of a taxiway B and compass calibration pad at the Covington Municipal Airport. The compass calibration pad there on the right allows pilots to calibrate their magnetic compass by the alignment the aircraft on the pad is known as the magnetic headings, and to adjust the compass. I think that sounds very important. I think we want our compasses to be calibrated so we get where we're going. That's a really cool thing, and I actually studied that in school, and I've never seen one in real life until now, so that is very cool. This represents a $1.5 million total investment, only $500,000 from state investment, and right at $1 million of local investment there at the Covington Municipal Airport. So, very good. All righty, let me move away from projects that open to traffic and do a couple of personnel announcements by announcing two promotions. First would be Jason Willingham has been promoted to serve as the district engineer for GDOT District 4 in Tifton, effective May 16th. Jason's been with the department for 18 years, most recently holding the position of district pre-construction engineer since April of 2020. Jason received his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Southern Poly and his master's in civil engineering from the University of Tennessee. He's a licensed professional engineer, and Jason's here. I'm going to ask Jason to stand up and give out his cell phone number. Jason? Jason, I would recommend staying away from Tim Golden. If you can. Okay. All right. Also, want to announce the promotion of Maricia Robinson Coleman has been appointed as the Executive Assistant to Chief Engineer Meg Perkle. Maricia has a bachelor's of degree in civil engineering technology from Georgia Southern, and started her GDOT career in District 7 design and progressed throughout the department, including office program delivery and her most recent stint in the office planning. So, Maricia, will you stand up as well? We'll recognize you. When you ask Meg and I hard questions, we go see Maricia. And she replaced David Norwood, who I believe is in the audience today as well. So glad to have Jason and Maricia in their new roles. All right. Really cool thing happened just last week I wanted to bring your attention to was the Transportation Research Board's 7th International Conference on Roundabouts and Geometric Design was held right here in Atlanta. I remind you that the Transportation Research Board is part of the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, and provides leadership in transportation for improvements and innovations through evidence-based information exchange, research, and advice regarding all modes of transportation. So it's if you think about the National Academy of Sciences, you think about medicine, but there's engineering and sciences in there as well, medicine. So very much peer-reviewed, like I said, evidence-based, so a lot of research goes into what TRB does. This international conference is held only once every 5 years, and the primary objective of the conference is to support safety globally, looking for efficiency and resilience efforts in roadway and interchange design and intersection designs for a more sustainable transportation system. As host of the conference, GDOT was well represented with more than 25 attendees participating, and in fact, leading many sessions. GDOT's involvement included delivery of 2 keynote addresses, one by Deputy Commissioner Andrew Heath and State Safety Program Manager Sam Harris, with Mike Luxenkirchen from Lexi 43 that joined Sam as well. We provided technical tours throughout the area. We had participation in at least 10 technical sessions as panelists or moderators. And we had 7 GDOT employees served as technical tour guides for bus tours of interchanges and roundabouts and walking tours of MARTA and Path 400. You know, a tour of a roundabout's pretty easy. You just get in it and stay in it, and you just keep going around. So, but the other ones get a little more complicated. So we also had a lot of other DOT volunteers hand out safety vests, because when we're on the roadsides, we want to be seen and be seen. And so we had a lot of work there to just the logistics of hosting this event, and we received a lot of kudos and hospitality for our hospitality and sharing information. And again, a special thanks to Sam Woods, our state roadway design engineer, who was really pivotal to organize this. Sam sent me a really nice email about how everybody helped out and did such a great job, but I want to commend him for his leadership and working with TRB to pull this off. And I said this is an international conference, and it's the 7th one. It's the first time it's ever been held in the United States. So this is a worldwide event, so we're just glad to host. Continuing to invest in our employees is number one, again, our most important asset. And I'm really excited to update you that we just held a Foreman's Academy training, which is hosted by the State Maintenance Office, and took place about 2 weeks ago there in the Macon office. As a reminder, GDOT's foreman supervises and instructs and leads our maintenance crews, which are essential for our transportation system to operate in the fine condition that it does. And I remind you, too, that they're on call 24/7, and those are the foremen are the men and women who pick up the phone and respond at all hours of the night and whenever duty calls. The Foreman's Academy is specialized training really designed for that frontline leadership that really has a direct impact on our productivity, if you think about it, and obviously safety. So we want to make sure that we can provide good training and opportunities for continued learning and growing of the women and men that are our foremen. And so we have subject matter experts that come in that participate in the training. And many people that have participated in the training have moved up their careers in GDOT, and they come back and share their lessons learned. So some of the things we look at is, again, overall personnel management, reinforcing standards of care of how we do procedures, also how to communicate effectively. You can find some really nice people on the side of the road when things are not going well. They like to talk to you, so we need to make sure we communicate effectively. And also just how to be proactive in doing things. And so really, again, great job for the State Maintenance Office for doing this. And over the past 2 years, we've been able to do 2 of these a year. This is a high turnover position. And so we're going to continue to invest in our foremen with Foreman's Academy so that they have the tools they need, the tools in their tool belt to do their job. And I just want to congratulate everybody for the great job of being there and learning together. As you heard from Emily Fish this morning, it is hurricane season and started back on June 1. So that means that state agencies, local communities, EMAs, as Emily talked about, 159 EMAs, must be ready and prepared for extreme weather like hurricanes that come our way during these summer months and to the fall. In addition to the level of preparedness that GDOT exhibits each year, as you learned from Emily this morning, as an agency, we also support and participate with activities to encourage Georgia residents to be prepared as they can be. One such local activity took place Saturday in Brunswick, which of course is down in GDOT District 5, and it was the Community Hurricane Prep Rally. How about that? You ever been to a prep rally? We've been to pep rallies, but this was the prep rally, hosted by Glenn County EMA and Brunswick EMA, and of course, both of those EMAs have too much experience for hurricanes and responding, and they do a great job. But certainly super proud of them and for us being invited to that. It really was sort of a family-friendly event where visitors and members of the community can learn about preparedness, response, and recovery from local experts, and how each household can be prepared as possible as storms approach. We had District 5 representatives that talked to the members of the community and shared information about what GDOT does and how we prepare for hurricanes. And the EMAs bill the event as a whole community approach to hurricane readiness. So hats off to Glenn County and Brunswick EMA for hosting this event. Really a sincere thank you to them for inviting us and being a part of the team. You can see our picture there on CHAMP. Our CHAMP folks were there. CHAMP program was there, as our GDOT folks were there. And really appreciate, again, District 5 for responding on the weekend, out on their weekends, promoting GDOT and promoting safety. So always grateful to engage in those opportunities. And let's see, before I say lastly, make sure I'm lastly. Nope, not lastly, next to lastly. We'd like to welcome our summer interns. We always keep our eyes on good talent and look for the next generation of transportation leaders here and transportation professionals. And as evidence on this focus, I point to pride of our internship headed up by Nicole Glenn in HR. I'd like to take a quick moment to highlight the program for you, which is in full swing right now in summer. This year's summer intern program had a record-breaking 879 applications. That's amazing, which resulted in our largest intern class we've ever had with 105 students. So our interns we picked are the best of the best, and so we're super excited to have them on board. We have interns placed across all 7 districts and in 14 offices across the state, mainly those 14 offices mainly being around here in Atlanta. Represents 20 different schools and universities. So we've got a great diversification from 26 schools and universities of the 105 interns. Interns are invited to rotate through a variety of offices to really obtain sort of a depth of experience in different disciplines as the State Transportation Board meetings here. We'll take some field trips as well to various locations. You can see there one at the pipe plant. And take those valuable experiences that they get this summer, take them back to the classroom and to their college careers. And as you can see on the screen, this was GDOT District 5. Chair Purcell talked to our interns. I believe that's you in the middle. Is that you without a vest and hat on?
I didn't have time. I didn't go into the plant. I was okay.
All right, we'll let the record reflect. We'll have some safety counseling after the meeting. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyway, but thank you for taking time to do that, and that's been a tradition Ann has done with District 5. It means a lot, and we actually have some interns with us today. I'm going to ask them to stand up. Let's recognize them. Your interns. Yay. I don't want to discourage any of you, but I started as an intern myself, so one day you might have to do this. So I don't want to discourage you, but you can do a lot better things too, so awesome. All right, so we're just glad to have them here. All right, let me conclude with this. This is I think, a very great way to end this report. Take an opportunity just to inform you that we're going to have a road dedication, a very notable road dedication to one of your own, to Johnny Floyd. It's going to be next Friday, and obviously in honor of a very good, close friend and colleague of all of ours here at GDOT, and as you as the State Transportation Board. Johnny has certainly represented the citizens of Congressional District 2 in the board for more than a decade, serving both as the chair and vice chair, and of course his long role, 20 years or so in the House, including vice chair of House Transportation Committee along the times. And we believe it's most fitting that Johnny is going to be remembered in this manner at the I-75 interchange at US 280 in Cordele, Georgia. Exit 101, which is thereafter will be named the Honorable Johnny Floyd Jr. Interchange. Certainly appreciate State Representative Noel Williams for spearheading the dedication ceremony schedule for not this Friday, but next Friday, June 27th at 10 a.m. with coordination of Tim Golden. See Tim if you want some more details. He's buying everybody's lunch that's coming down. Appreciate that. But what a great way to honor Johnny, and as somebody that loved Cordele so much, and I heard every time, I think at least every month I heard, now Commissioner, we got to have some help down here. So it's just wonderful that this is going to happen, and Johnny being recognized for his home there in Cordele. And, so if you have an opportunity to attend, we'd love for you to attend that. Seriously, let Tim know or let Kristen know. We can get you the details and look forward to seeing people, hopefully, next Friday. So, Madam Chair, that concludes my report. I'll be glad to entertain any questions, comments, anybody has.
Anyone with questions or comments? I'd like to make one, Commissioner, about the internship program that our state provides throughout the GDOT various districts. It pleases me as I have got to know some of these interns the previous year that are repeating for their second time because they have such a strong interest in GDOT and what GDOT has to offer. So I'm hoping that we will be able to retain some of these individuals and they will certainly be GDOT employees. And I think that that shows what this is and such a good program that we have here in our state of Georgia.
I agree. Thank you for that. And they don't know it, but when they sign up to be an intern, they commit it to 4 years automatically. But
Wonderful.
We're hiring. We're hiring.
We'll take them. Anyone else with comments? Thank you so very much. We'll go forward with our board committee reports, and I will call on Committee Chair Tim Golden with the Statewide Transportation Plan and Strategic Planning Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The State Transportation Planning Strategic Planning Committee convened on June the 18th at 10 a.m. Board members present was myself, Jeff Lewis, Dennis McIntyre, Chairman Purcell, Jamie Boswell, Kathy Williams, Doug Stoner, Joe Stein, and Dan Snipes. First order of business, Sue Ann Decker, Assistant Director of Planning, presented on the Transportation Alternative Program, known as TA program. Transportation Alternatives is a competitive federal program that promotes non-motorized transportation like walking and biking. The TA presentation included material regarding who can apply, what types of projects are eligible for funding, and a schedule when the next round of applications are due. The partnership with the State Road and Tollway Authority at SERTA was highlighted. SERTA assists in providing matching assistance to rural Georgia through the Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank. With this partnership, the program has been able to expand awareness of the opportunity and invite those interested to apply. In fiscal year 2025, $12.6 million was awarded to 23 projects. There was no committee action taken. The committee adjourned at 10:18, and this concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. I request that for the Intermodal Committee, that committee member, Kathy Williams, please give that report for us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Intermodal Committee convened on June 18th, 2025 at 10:19 a.m. Board members present were myself, Chair Purcell, McIntyre, Stoner, Boswell, Stein, Golden, Lewis, Snipes, and Gravely. First order of business, Patricia Smith, Transit Program Manager, provided a presentation to the Intermodal Committee. The presentation provided an update on GDOT's transit program, highlighting recent statewide transit plan initiatives, Federal Transit Administration grant programs, and the Transit Trust Fund program. Dr. Smith's presentation focused on the importance of rural transit and GDOT's goal to provide oversight and assistance in the expansion and enhancement transit throughout Georgia's communities. No actions were taken by this committee, and the committee adjourned at 10:45 a.m. This concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The committee at the whole convened yesterday, or this morning, at 10:46 a.m. Board members present included Chairman Purcell, Jamie Boswell, McIntyre, Williams, Stoner, Stein, Golden, Lewis, Snipes, and Garvey. Our first order of business, Chris Rudd, the Director of Engineering, presented an overview of the GDOT Bridge Program. This included a summary of the organization of the Bridge Design and Maintenance Office, types of funding that are available for the preservation and replacement of bridges, and the current condition of bridges in our state. The overall view included a discussion of how bridges are inspected and selected for rehabilitation or replacement. The second order of business of the committee, Emily Fish, our Assistant State Maintenance Engineer, presented a Helene recovery update, including final statements and a FEMA public assistant overview, and an after-action review. She presented an outlook of the 2025 Atlanta hurricane season coming up and discussed implementing lessons learned going forward and streaming and standardizing procedures and operations. There was no action taken by the committee, and the committee adjourned at 11:44 a.m., and this concludes our report there. Now, as we move forward, we have a resolution to be presented at this time, and if I could ask Brad Saxon to please join me at the podium. Brad, I want you to know that I have had a terrible time with this resolution. The first thing off, there's 14 of us on the board. I've asked all the board members if they would like to present this resolution to you. No one volunteered. So here I am, folks. I'm going to do the resolution. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that Brad and I have been friends for many, many years, along with his family. We lived in the same area. We have worked together in numerous things. And what I heard from Brad when I came on this board, that people were saying, what are we going to do with Ann Purcell? He said, I'll handle her. That was his favorite talk to everyone that came around. Are you blushing? Let me see what else I can bring up about Bradford. Number one, I never knew his name was Bradford. It was always Brad to me, so that was a first, and I've learned a lot. But let me read this resolution. I'm not delighted to read it, but I'm honored to read it for you. Friendship is strong. The actions that Brad has presented for us in the Department of Transportation has been overwhelming. So therefore, let me read this resolution. Whereas Bradford W. Saxon, P.E., retired from the Georgia Department of Transportation after 31 years career and began as an intern in our Savannah area construction office in the summer of 1990. And by that, following through with his services at the end of Deputy Commissioner. His genuine leadership style and strong connections with colleagues define an impressive career that has made a lasting impact on this department and the state of Georgia. And whereas after 4 years working as an intern and upon graduation from the Georgia Institute of Technology, that's Georgia Tech, folks, I just want to make that clear, with a Bachelor of Civil Engineering degree in 1994, Bradford, known as Brad, to his colleagues and friends, joined the Georgia Department of Transportation full-time as a transportation engineer too, and I'm not sure what that means too, but nevertheless, that's what you came in as. And I got a wink, so I know I'm okay with him. But in Savannah office is where he started. In his role, he managed a diverse array of transportation projects, which would establish the foundation of a distinguished career, prioritizing the safety and the mobility of citizens of our beautiful state of Georgia. And whereas Brad's early career with the department was highlighted by consistent advancement reflecting an overwhelming dedication of enhancing transportation in Georgia. In 1999, he received his first promotion, rising to the position of Assistant Area Engineer for Construction in the Glenville area office, my hometown. He would later transfer to the Statesboro area office in the same role where we had an office. His talents were soon recognized again in 2001 when he earned a well-deserved promotion to Assistant District Construction Engineer for GDOT District 5. And whereas Brad's career flourished in GDOT District 5, so did his career to the State Transportation Network. During this time, he held several positions, including Assistant District Management Engineer, District Construction Engineer, and District Pre-Construction Engineer. A few of his notable accomplishments in service to the people of Georgia included construction overview of the widening of the last 5 sections of I-95 in Georgia in Glenn and McIntosh County, completion of the Vidalia one-way pair project, and design of the widening of State Route 144 in Bryan County. And whereas in 2013, Brad was selected to serve as an assistant office head in the Office of Program Delivery, where he expanded his knowledge, that personal knowledge of the plan development process, and aided in the development of hundreds of projects across our state. And whereas in February 2016, Brad was appointed the position of District Engineer and GDOT 5, led the department's efforts in serving the citizens of Southeast Georgia. After the passage of House Bill 170, Brad prioritized addressing deferred maintenance on the state route system with a priority placed upon I-16, I-95, and I-516, which included a vegetation management program, that's cutting down trees, to reestablish clear zones and approve recovery areas for errant vehicles, making interstate safer for all travelers, and that it has. Whereas Brad's unwavering dedication to district engineer to serving the citizens of Georgia is evident in his highly effective leadership through response and recovery operations. Specifically during Hurricane Matthew in October of 2016, Hurricane Irma in September of 2017, the winter storms of January 2018, and the tragic crash of a WC-130 military plane along our state route 21 in Chatham County. That was in May of 2018. And Hurricane Michael in October of 2018, because of his steadfast leadership and heartfelt contributions during challenging times, he helped restore normalcy to many Georgians facing the worst of times. Whereas in 2019, Brad was appointed the Director of Field Districts, where he worked with the district engineers to ensure consistency in the delivery of the department's programs with an emphasis on customer service. And whereas, over the course of his career, Brad steadily advanced within the Georgia Department of Transportation. In 2021, he accepted a promotion to the role of Deputy Commissioner, his final assignment with the department. In this role, he significantly enhanced operations by prioritizing recruitment and retention of talented employees, resulting in an increase of overall headcount. Focused on equipment and investment, ensuring the staff had the resources necessary to deliver on the promise of safety and efficient transportation network, and concentrated on a high quality of service delivered to everyone in our state of Georgia. Therefore, be it resolved that the State Transportation Board recognize Bradford W. Saxon for his leadership, for his dedication, and his valuable contributions to the advancement of Georgia's transportation network. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be spread upon the minutes of this meeting, and a suitable copy be presented to Bradford W. Saxon in honor and recognition for your 31 years of service to the state of Georgia and for his lasting impact on the Georgia Department of Transportation. This will be adopted today on the 18th of this June 2025, and I ask at this time for a motion that we accept this resolution to be spread upon our minutes. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Do I have any discussion? No, but then I guess I need to call for a vote on the resolution. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like white, nope, nays. No nays? The ayes carried. Bradford, I do want to present to you with your resolution that has been adopted by our board, and we are so pleased and gratified for your assistance all these 31 years. And I got elected at that same time in the Georgia House. That's why he said he'd keep me straight. Would you like to go through this?
Sure. Without a script this time. And not on the payroll, so there's no telling what's about to happen. So, I'd struggled to think about some of the things to say, and Miss Anna omitted a lot of our relationship because I didn't know if I could talk about it. But since she done ripped the Band-Aid off, so first let me say this. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, for the honor and recognition today. It really means a lot. It's been a pleasure to get to know each of you who are amazing, successful people in their own right, and just always a joy to deal with. So it's been my pleasure to work with y'all each throughout the years, as well as many other board members in the past. But to Madam Chair, she's right. I remember meeting her vividly, I'm not going to say how many years ago, and was introduced by the area engineer I worked for. And I told her, I said, I bet, and this was in Tattnall County, I'm not going to say what, but you remember. And I said, I bet I'm your favorite person in this room. She goes, well, why is that? I said, I'm a constituent. She was my state rep, and I had never met her. But I soon got to know her well, especially, I think probably the next time session was out, and that same area engineer asked me what I was doing the next day, and I was telling him where I was going to be going for construction jobs. And he said, nope, I'm going to come by your house and pick you up, bring 2 pads of paper and 2 pens, because we're going to go pick up Miss Ann, and we're going to ride her district today. So that's what we did. So that was also wonderful. And what I always said, though, Miss Ann, was when I was district engineer, my whole job description was one sentence: keep Miss Ann happy. Everything else went smooth as long as that happened. So, but I do have a few other things. I would like to say, you know, it's been 35 years to the day since I walked in the Savannah office as an intern in 1990. And by this time in the afternoon, I was on the top of the Talmadge Bridge. And that's where I worked my first summer on the main span, and I was hooked from then on. And one of my last intern summer, I actually worked on the first section of 95 to be widened, and all set for 3 projects in Camden County. I had a hand in every one of those projects. Made a career of working on 95. That's 113 miles that we accomplished, but those last 5 were while I was district construction engineer. But I want to say, you know, 35 years ago, you never think you end a career standing in front of the board. Never thought I'd probably have the opportunity to speak to the board, much less, like last month, me and Commissioner shared, you know, being able to fill in for him. And Madam Chair, I never thanked you for arranging and for the speaker to come by. It was truly humbling for him to make the time to be here last month, and thank you both for that. But, you know, never thought, you know, would be here doing this today. But, you know, you don't accomplish anything, very few things in life do you accomplish on your own, you know, and I'm no different. So I got a lot of people that have, you know, I've been a part of wonderful teams. I've worked for wonderful mentors. You know, this is a world-class organization with world-class engineers and any other title you want to throw out there. There's a lot of true SMEs in this building. But as you can tell by this long list of things, I never stayed in one place long. And I always like to say I'm kind of the Heinz 57 variety, or what my dad would say, you're just a DOT mutt. You know, I've been a little bit everywhere and done a little bit of everything. But none of that was done without a lot of amazing people around me. And in 5 or so minutes, you can't recognize all those folks. So I just want to give a blanket statement of that as I move forward. But first, you know, of course, the most important support any person can have is the love and support of their family. You know, so my parents and grandparents who taught me the value of hard work and who made all the sacrifices necessary for me and my brother to attend and both graduate from Georgia Tech. Now, he probably was going to make it with no problems. Me, it was some questions sometimes, but I made it. So I did graduate. So to my son Holden, he's 17, and he's learning about hard work. He's back home working today where he needs to be, you know, but for him understanding as a young fella the demands of a job that meant you had to be away from home, I actually sat him down when I took the job in program delivery and was explaining to him as a 5-year-old that, you know, I'm going to be gone a couple of nights a week probably, you know, moving forward. And he looked me straight in the eye and he said, "That's all right, Dad. Everybody needs a break from you every now and then." So, you know, he was always on board. And, that's the moment when you look at him, you go, that was a very Brad thing to say, you know, so I got it right back. But my beautiful wife, Tara, who's here today, I'm most thankful for her love and support. Since my early days in Savannah construction, she's always believed in me and been my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter, and she's the reason I've tried so hard to be successful, not only here at work, but at home. And I love you very much, and thank you for being here today with me. It means the world. And I have been blessed with a immensely, you know, enjoyable career. And as anybody knows, if I'm here, I'm having fun, and I've had a lot of fun in my 30-plus years. You know, they said, I started out in construction in Savannah, and that was the basis of my knowledge of the department, is knowing how a job is built, what it takes to build a job. But there's a couple of people I want to recognize who were very special to me coming up. Mr. Jerome Sheffield and Mr. Bobby Brown. These two men have forgot more about building highways than I'll ever know. And Jerome was the area engineer who hired me, and Bobby Brown, we worked together for many years. He was that first project manager on 95, and when he retired as a district construction engineer, I'd worked with him for a long time. But they took a lot of time to train and mentor me and a whole host of other engineers in D5, who some of them you know because they've been office heads in this office. They all started the same place I did. But they taught us how to work hard, and they taught us how to do things right. Those were stand-up men, and they got results, and they believed doing the right thing every day, all the time. So I just want to take a second to acknowledge them for how much they've meant to me personally, and how much they've meant to my career, because I wouldn't be here without those two guys, I'm sure. But one of the things I have enjoyed the most is the fact, and I always tout this about the department, is the fact that I worked in construction, I worked in maintenance, I worked in pre-construction, I worked in program delivery. That's 4 career changes right there, and I count the others, right? And I never left the department. So it's been a very good ride, and those 4 jobs in themselves prepared me for one of my favorite positions I held, and that was as district engineer in District 5. And, you know, having all those tools in the toolbox and knowing the workings of the department, meeting with local governments and hearing their problems, the problems in their communities, and finding a way, you know, to help them meet the needs in their community was most rewarding. And it was when I was district engineer that I first spoke to the board. And some of you were there, so some of y'all may remember this. The board meeting was in Jekyll Island. It was after one of those hurricanes that was listed. I don't remember which one, might have been Matthew. But it was in Jekyll. And I spoke to the committee of the whole for a District 5 update. And this is one of my favorite slides I ever put together in my whole career. You may remember. It was 3 panels: a chainsaw, a can of Beanie Weenies, and a cot. Do you remember that? Nobody else has the nerve. I know Commissioner does, because he said he loved, when he reviewed it, he sent me an email saying he loved the Beanie Weenies. But that's to reflect what we ask of our folks every time a bad event happens. We ask them to go home, get their business together, get their affairs in order, take care of their family, pack your Beanie Weenies, be ready to come to work real hard for 5 to 7 days and not plan to get much rest. And you heard about that laundry list, a litany of things that short time I was in District 5, I had to ask an awful lot of people. And those folks in District 5, that is one of the greatest teams I ever worked with. And I'm not braggadocious enough to say they're the best district, because I've worked with all the districts, and there's great people all the way across this department. But truly enjoyed the time. I'm truly thankful that they have always answered the call for me, and it was an honor to be a part of that team, and for such a large portion of my career. And I actually thought about this while she was reading the resolution. I remember the commissioner came down Sunday morning after Matthew, and we were talking in the assembly room, and you know, I had a great team around me in that operations center, and I told him, I said, I'm fully aware that a lot of this happens in spite of me, you know, because there's a lot of people in that room that knew what to do, you know. So thankful for all of them. For the last 6 years or so as Director of Field Districts and as Deputy Commissioner, I've had the privilege to work with another very special group of people within the department, and that's the district engineers. And as y'all know, those are the folks who take care of business. So if you ever called me and asked me a question, who was the first person we call? The district engineer. So I want to say thank you to each one of them for all their hard work and dedication, the current ones and the ones in the past I've had the privilege to work with. And I can tell you, those are the conversations I'll probably miss the most, is the conversations with that group. A lot of good stuff comes out of getting that level of people together and identifying roadblocks and opportunities to make things better. Finally, to the executive management team, our treasurer, the chief engineer, commissioner, you know, what an honor to be a part of that team. You're talking about world-class. This is a world-class organization, respected everywhere, none more than our commissioner, our chief engineer and treasurer, and to be a part of that team for the last 4 years is probably some of the most enjoyable work I've done at the department. But last, Commissioner, special thanks to you, sir, for all the opportunities over the years, and you know what they are, and I appreciate you taking chances on me that other people may not have in certain positions, but I really appreciate that. And last, I want to say, I know you recall, because you remember everything, our conversation as far as your expectations of me as your deputy commissioner. I remember that conversation well. So I'm here to report to you, sir, that I did find all the yeses. I did make it better. And I handled it, whatever it came up, to the best of my ability. So thank you for the honor of serving as your deputy commissioner. It was truly the highest honor of my career, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Madam Chair, thanks again. It's been a privilege to be a part of this department and to serve the citizens of Georgia. Thank you all.
Seeing none, I did want to bring up to you one thing is that we will have our next board meeting as a regular board meeting Wednesday and Thursday. It will be July the 16th and the 17th, our usual time. So I wanted to make sure you put that on the calendar because I'll expect to see you back here. But I also wanted to say something that we've got July the 4th coming up. I hope you have a very happy one and a very safe one. But I wanted to go back to our Flag Day, Memorial Day. All of these things seem to fall together. And I don't want us to forget those individuals that have served our country and that have been there for us so that we could even gather today like we're gathered here and be able to say what we feel, what we're learning, and what we know about. I want you to remember those individuals, particularly when we had Memorial Day, that gave their service to this country, and they died for it. What better love can a person have for a friend to give their life for that friend, and that friend is us that survive today. So please remember about our country. We're in one of the most wonderful countries that has ever existed, the USA. And we've had many people that have served our country to give us this honor to be here and to be a part of what America is all about. And with that, I adjourn our meeting to the July.